At long last, the border war officially returns as Missouri and Kansas get set to do battle. We are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game between the Tigers and the Jayhawks. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips. He's Cole the Bear Thompson. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. And as always, we're powered by our friends over at FANDUEL. Visit FANDUEL.com/SECU to join today and get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FANDUEL.com/SECU to get $250 in bonus bets today. At long last, a storied rivalry returns, simply known as the border war. Missouri and Kansas getting set to do battle on Saturday afternoon. We are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips. Joining me, as he always does, my good friend, my co-host, my colleague, my partner in crime, and one of the best to do it, Cole the Bear Thompson. Bear, what's going on, man? Appreciate you taking the time, and I can tell by that smile on your face, you are stoked, like I am, to break down this game because for the first time in over a decade, we finally get Tigers and Jayhawks on the gridiron, as we should have every single year. It's been far too long. Cannot wait to break down this one with you and see this one play out on Saturday.
It just is like that feeling in your stomach, like right before you go down a roller coaster, it drops, but you're so excited and the intensity starts to rile on up. It's the border war. It's my childhood. This was one of the signature games growing up in Big 12 country that you couldn't help but always be fixated on. And it didn't matter what the records were. It didn't matter if some team was successful or if another team was playing a 1-11 football, because you saw that a lot with Kansas. They were at one point the laughingstock of the sport. It was always about this game. It was always about the intensity, the animosity, the history of the state between Missouri and Kansas with the border war, with what happened in the Civil War. And we heard from Connor Tolleson, the offensive lineman from Mizzou, that they brought in a historian to break down everything that happened in that time period on why this rivalry matters. Rivalries in college football are the breadbone, they are the backing, and they are the foundation of what makes this sport so unique, so promising, so filled with life and potential. This is a game that I have wanted to see. This is a game that I think America has needed to see. And best of all, Chris Phillips, the way that we have watched these two offenses look in just 3 games, Fresno State, Wagner, and Central Missouri or Central Arkansas, high scoring velocity. There is a lot to like about both sides of the football to where everything and anything is on display. And that includes maybe an upset by a Big 12 team against an SEC team. Everything is so excited though. I am very pumped to break down this game. This is one of my favorite matchups. I cannot wait to get to kick off at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Yeah, anytime you have the level of toxicity and hatred that we're going to get in this football game. These are games that make college football great. Like you said, rivalries like this, games that we feel like should be played every single year. It is games like this that truly remind you why college football and college sports in general are so awesome. Bear, once again, like you mentioned, Saturday, September the 6th, this game is actually a 2:30 Central Time kickoff on ESPN2, so an afternoon kickoff for the locals there in Como. Again, a game, of course, being played in Columbia, Missouri at Faurot Field. I'll say this, Bear. I remember watching these two play when, like, Chase Daniel was the quarterback at MIZ, and I forget, maybe you can remind me who the quarterback of Kansas was back when they went to the Orange Bowl and they were really good.
Jared, not Jared Zabrowski. It started with a Z. I remember.
It's like I can see him in my head. I'm sure I could just Google it right now, but I can see him in my mind. But you're right. Like Kansas, I remember watching these games. I believe they used to play each other at Arrowhead, correct?
You're right. Every single year. Yeah. Great defense. Chris Harris, Aqib Talib on the back end. Yeah. Mark Mangiano, the biggest coach, quite literally and physically the biggest coach on the sideline. Good attitude, bald head, mustache like no one else's business. It made the game special. It really did. It was a signature thing for, I think, all of us that just truly loved college football back in the day.
Todd Reesing, one of those guys?
Reesing was the one. That was it. I knew it was number 5.
Was it Reesing? Okay. Yeah. No, anyways, I remember growing up, like as a young college football fan, watching these games, the electricity of Missouri, Kansas. It's definitely a rivalry. I wonder if today's newer college football fan really understands. But if you don't, you're going to learn very, very quickly. Bear, Mizzou is a 6.5-point favorite in this game. The over-under set at 50.5. Get this. Missouri leads the all-time series 56, 55, and 9. I mean, that's how a rivalry is supposed to be, right? Like, you talk about back and forth. It's essentially split down the middle. Mizzou with a one-game lead. And Bear, the last meeting, 2011, Missouri won 24-10 to take a one-game edge in the series, and they've had it ever since. So, Bears, we take a look at Kansas. Their head coach, Lance Leipold, what a job he has done there in Lawrence. They went 5-7, 4-5 a season ago. I feel like came into last year a little bit of hype, fell short of some expectations. They are 2-0 on the season. They were one of those that participated in week 0. They beat Fresno State 31-7, beat Wagner 46-7 in week 1. Key contributors for the Jayhawks, Bear, obviously it starts with their quarterback. Jalen Daniels, one of the most electric players in all of college football, one of the most fun to watch, certainly. Their running back, Daniel Highshaw Jr., has been their leading rusher in the first 2 games. Wide receiver, Emmanuel Henderson Jr., who had a big game against Wagner, 2 touchdown catches. Their defensive front's really good, Bear. Defensive end, Dean Miller, and then their 2 tackles, DJ Withers, Tommy Dunn Jr. That's probably the strength of their defense, is the interior defensive line and the defensive line as a whole. It's a very veteran group too, Bear. You look at them, senior. A lot of old guys on the defensive side of the football. Bear, before we dive into the game, I want to get your thoughts on Kansas. Did you have very high expectations of the Jayhawks coming in? Like, when you size up the Jayhawks going into this game, what stands out to you most?
Jim Zembrowski is a name that you're going to want to know. This is the new offensive coordinator for Kansas. So what was really interesting about him is he was the quarterback's coach. And then you lose your offensive coordinator in Andy Kotelnicki to Penn State. So they go out and they hire a name that I was not a big fan of, Jeff Grimes. Just the style of offense, the identity on the way they want to play with this physical ground and pound attack, just it wasn't there. And I don't think that worked for a quarterback like Jalen Daniels. And it certainly didn't work for a quarterback like Jason Bean, who led the team to a 9-4 season in 2023. Well, Zembrowski was the quarterback's coach that worked with both of these guys and kind of got them fixated on the direction they were going in and transcending towards while just working in the position. Now he's taken over the offense. There's a night and day difference for how I feel and how he's looked with Jalen Daniels at quarterback. He's back to playing composed. He's back to playing physical. He's also back to playing with a bit of confidence and finesse. And it's why he has been, in my opinion, the most impressive player in college football over the first 2 weeks. Now, again, it's Wagner and it's Fresno State, but it's the way that he is conducting the offense. It's the way that he is poised to deliver the deep shots down the field. It's the mannerisms that he plays the game that I think has added that juice back to Kansas's offense in a way that is going to make them dangerous in the Big 12. This is going to be a massive game for kind of setting the tone on where they stand in a pecking order, but the Big 12 is wide open, and it always will be. You saw what Devin Dampier did for Utah. Baylor lost, but they had over 400 passing yards with Sawyer Robertson. So many of these teams could find a way to be able to punch their ticket to the college football playoff. The way that this offense worked, Daniel Highshaw, Emmanuel Henderson, a name you're going to want to watch out for is Bryson Canty. Played at Columbia, came on in this past year, was supposed to be wide receiver 1, didn't play in week 1, had a decent game against Wagner in week 2. If they can get this passing attack moving and be really successful, they've been one of the best teams on third down execution and explosive plays. It's going to be an intriguing matchup for Corey Batoon's defense. I agree with you. The defense for Kansas is such a selling point. A lot of these players did not like the way the season ended last year. And what was interesting, Chris, is that if you look at Kansas, fun stat, if they didn't play the fourth quarter of any game last season, did not play the fourth quarter, they would have gone 10-2 and been in Arlington for the Big 12 championship. It was the way that they quite literally closed out games that cost them bowl eligibility. But they're home in Memorial Stadium, brand new renovated system. They're going to continue to build up the stadium. They have a good coach. They have a great leader in Lance Leipold. I think they have 2 good coordinators that are going to be able to dial up some things that keeps Mizzou on its toes. This is not your average Kansas team. This is a Kansas team that heard about the rivalry, realized that it was going to come back, and they said, well, we got to give our fans and we got to give the people of Missouri something to talk about. If we're going to go out in a show, we might as well go out in style. And that's what we're going to see, I think, on Saturday from this Kansas team.
Bear, it's going to be a lot of fun as we dive in this matchup and the top storylines go in. And, of course, we've already kind of discussed it, but the simple fact that the border war is back is probably the lead storyline in this game. And I just can't wait for the energy, the emotion. You know the emotions are going to be at an all-time high between both these teams, even though they haven't played in so long. I'm sure that both sides are conveying to their guys what this game means. So we're going to see that chippiness. We're going to see that edge. Who handles their emotions better is going to be something to watch for in this game. Is anybody committing, or who is committing stupid penalties or making dumb mistakes or maybe doing some things that are a little bit out of character because of a game like this. Bear, diving into the matchup itself, though, you mentioned both the offenses, and listen, Missouri scored 60 points against Central Arkansas, and I'm glad they did. I took them minus 38.5, and they covered. It was a really fun day on the offensive side. Bo Prabula is your QB1. We don't have that to talk about anymore, unfortunately, because of the unfortunate injury, to Sam Horn. My bigger question, Bear, lies with the offensive line, because the first half of that Central Arkansas game, Bear, they got pushed around. I mean, they looked, yes, you were up, I think it was 26-0 at halftime, but it was like a really, call me crazy, and like an uninspiring, unimpressive 26-0. Bear, they couldn't run the football against Central Arkansas. And now you're going up against the defense that, again, we talked about DJ Withers, Tommy Dunn, Dean Miller, others as well in that front seven, in that defensive front. Bear, if you don't take a step forward from week 1 to week 2, you're going to get pushed around up front. Like, all due respect to Central Arkansas, that's not even remotely near the level of competition you're going to see this week, and certainly you're going to see an SEC play. So, like, the biggest area of opportunity and the biggest area where you need to improve, I need to see you be more physical at the point of attack and run the football. We know what you got in Ahmad Hardy. I feel pretty confident saying Ahmad Hardy's a guy, I think he's going to be one of the SEC's best when it comes to ball carriers in this league. But it starts up front for me, Bear. I know Bo Prabula is a question. We'll talk about him, obviously, and you can discuss him if you like. But how do they look on the offensive line? And you'll hear coaches say you make your biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2. You better hope that's the case on the offensive line, because if it's not, it's going to be a long day for you up front.
Can we agree all as a society? Doesn't matter what sideline you stand upon, and it doesn't matter if you root for Missouri or not. Caden Green's a guard. Can we leave him at guard? Like, honestly, he was getting bullied as the left tackle. And I know it's one game, but it's one game against Central Arkansas. You already brought up Kansas's defensive line. Chris, I know that they've played an extra game, but they lead the country in tackles for losses with 19, and they're number 1 in sacks with 8. So they're getting pressure on the quarterback, regardless of who their competition is. If this is the version of the offensive line we're going to see by Mizzou, it's going to be a long day for Bo Prabula if he stands in the pocket. Now, the good news is Bo Prabula can scoot. He can make plays. We watched that big touchdown run that was, in my opinion, the altering moment, and kind of like, in my sense, the deciding factor. Even if you had a healthy Sam Horn, this is your QB1. He can just do things that transcend your offense to a new level that gives you the opportunity to strike a little bit more. 2 rushing touchdowns on the day, the big time run. So he's going to be able to maneuver behind the line of scrimmage if his offensive line bails. But in my opinion, you don't want your offensive line to bail, because if you are trusting Bo Prabula, you already mentioned his name. That likely means Ahmad Hardy is not running the football efficiently. That likely means Jamal Roberts is not getting the right amount of carries. Those are 2 running backs that can be difference makers, and a good 1-2 combination that keeps defenses on its toes on where they're going, how they're attacking, if they can move downfield and into the line of scrimmage to the second level of the defense. But if they're stopping the run because the offensive line is not able to block, the reason why Bo Prabula is getting those yards is because he's probably running for his life behind the line of scrimmage, just trying to create some positive net gain. That's what we're talking about. So the offensive line has got to play better. The left side of the offensive line has got to play efficiently better. Caden Green, I understand if that's the best person you got at left tackle, so be it. But you're already screwing yourself, because if he is going to be in the NFL next season as a guard, that is what people are looking at him from a scouting perspective. So if you can just have him play that spot and figure out what to do with the left tackle position, that's going to do you more wonders and put you in a much better position to be able to be more balanced on the offensive side. The right side of the offensive line, it came together late in the game, but can you get off to a better start? You mentioned this defensive line, their ability to win their one-on-one battles for Kansas. That is going to be a testament early on in this game. However, on the opposing side, Corey Batoon's defense basically pitched a shutout. They looked really good, and they looked really good with a lot of young pieces. So maybe that same type of persona that we're talking about when it comes to Mizzou's offensive line going up against Kansas' front seven, that might be the exact same thing that Jalen Daniels has to go up against this front seven with Mizzou.
Bear, you talked a lot about Bo Prabula. I am excited to see him, like you mentioned. I think the dual threat nature, I didn't know he could scoot that way, to be honest with you. And watch him against Central Arkansas, I do think that creates a different dynamic or a new dynamic in that offense. I think the passing game, you should be able to hit some explosive plays down the field. Guys on the outside like Marquise Johnson, Joshua Manning, Kevin Coleman as well. I think there's going to be some opportunities for some deep shots, some big plays. It just starts up front for me on the offensive line, establishing a running game, again, getting down to the goal line and being able to punch it in. I mean, you struggled at times to do that against Central Arkansas. Like I said, do I think that's who you are necessarily for the entire season? I like to believe you're going to be better than that up front. But again, it is a question for me. Excited to watch Bo Prabula, though. Again, this is his team now. I mean, he's QB1. There's no debate. There's no splitting of reps. There's no anything. It's all you because of the unfortunate injury, like we mentioned, to a Sam Horn. Bear, you mentioned Corey Batoon in the Missouri defense. I'll ask you this. Do you think it's as simple if you stop Jalen Daniels or contain Jalen Daniels, you essentially stop that Kansas offense? Because he's the straw that stirs the drink. He is the heartbeat, the heart and soul of the offensive side. Much easier said than done because he's a really dynamic player. But it feels like if they can contain him, they should be able, I think, to have a lot of success on defense.
Contain is the right word, because of you're going to have to make this offense one-dimensional. Now, I think Daniel Highshot is a good running back. I was very impressed to watch the way that Cole Ballard has kind of stepped on up. He's the backup quarterback. He's done some good things mobility-wise. Johnny Thompson, he's had a decent couple of runs, but nothing really that crazy. If you want to be able to make this Kansas squad one-dimensional, you got to take away Jalen Daniels. But that doesn't come, in my opinion, on the ground. That actually comes through the air. You got to be able to make this offense really keep him in the pocket, number one. And number two, try to take those deep shots to where it's going to lead to incompletions. He's going to feel rattled. He's not going to be able to build that rapport with Emmanuel Henderson or Bryson Canty. And it's going to be a big-time test, I think, for the secondary that does feature a lot of new pieces, but also a little bit of veteranship as well. So that is where you got to slow down Jalen Daniels. The mobility thing, it's one thing. He's got a little bit of juice to his legs. He's more so known for his passing style. He had 4 touchdown passes. He's currently got a 7-1 touchdown interception ratio. He has an 81% completion rating. He has a pass rating of over 215 after 2 games. You're going to have to beat him by making sure that he stays in the pocket, does maneuver outside, and create those second chance opportunities where wide receivers can break on open. If that's the way you win this football game, or if that's the way you play this football game, it may be a one-sided option so long as Bo Prabula and this rushing attack can work for Mizzou. That's the way I feel, because it's not his legs that you have to worry about. If anything, you got to see if Daniel Highshot can be that running back if you're Kansas, if he can be that extra second element. If you can take away the passing attack, he's going to have to be. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that if you're Kansas.
They are so excited. The border war is back. I know we both are. That being said, let's lock in some picks. Let's lock in some predictions for what's going to take place Saturday afternoon in Columbia, Missouri. Would you like the honors, or would you like
I will take the honors on this one. This is pure euphoria for any Big 12 fan. And I am a Big 12 fan because I grew up in Big 12 country. Texas A&M, a lot of the programs that now currently call the SEC home, they played in the Big 12 when I was growing up. This was a game that was must-see television. I had family members and friends on the Kansas side. I had family members and friends on the Mizzou side. There's a reason why Mizzou means so much to me. There's a reason why the border war has so much animosity, but also just pure appreciation to me. I love this matchup. I'm so glad we get it back. The 3 things that I am looking for in this game. Number 1, can you establish the run outside of Bo Prabula against this defensive line? Ahmad Hardy, fully agree with you. This dude is different. This dude showed you that it didn't matter the competition. He is going to be a problem in the SEC. But Jamal Roberts is a name that we have got to talk about more. I think that he is a playmaker who can absolutely be a running back 1 in certain situations if you're not getting it from Ahmad Hardy. So what is he going to provide? Number 2, can we see another wide receiver step on up? Marquise Johnson, big time day against Central Arkansas, 134 yards. Joshua Manning had a good day. Kevin Coleman didn't find his way into the end zone, but he had 2 explosive plays. Jude James had a big 40-yard grab for a touchdown. Donovan Ogudbe, I know I said that wrong. I will learn how to say the pronunciation, is the freshman that you cannot wait to see take that next step forward the way Luther Burden did when he arrived in Como. I need to see somebody else prove that they can be a difference maker for this passing attack. And number 3, can Jalen Daniels stay in the pocket and you force the turnover? He has 1 interception. It was against Wagner. He cooked Fresno State. And for the most part, he made mincemeat out of the Wagner Eagles. So can you force this team to be able to stay in the pocket and have to win through the air? Because if you take away the rushing attack and you don't take away the passing attack, Kansas still might beat you. They absolutely still can beat you. I like Kansas a lot. I like Lance Leipold a lot. I think Kansas right now has earned my respect to where I'm actually going to change my prediction from 8-4 to 9-3. That's how good I think this team can be this year. But I'm not changing my ways about the SEC. And I'm not changing my loyalty to my MIZ Tigers. And I'm not changing the fact that Bo Pabula is not getting talked about enough. He will on Saturday. You're going to watch as this game goes down to the wire. But in a gotta-have moment, you're going to watch the Tigers pull away. Farote Field will be rocking and rolling. It's a 2-0 start for MIZ this year. The line is set at over under 51. One of my favorite plays this week, Chris Phillips, is the overhitting. I think both these teams are going to be able to have those explosive connectivity downfield. And I like Kansas with the points at plus 5.5. I do. But I ultimately think that you will get a win by Bo Pabula. This will be a game that we talk about. Give me 34-31 final score. MIZ! Still the most underappreciated team in the SEC.
Bear, I love it. I love that we have this game back. I love games like this. The emotion, the energy, the toxicity, admittedly, the way the fan bases hate each other, the way the teams hate each other, the programs hate each other. These kinds of games are great for college football. Like I told you, my biggest question for MIZ is the offensive line. Watching them against Central Arkansas, it was very uninspiring play. It did not instill a lot of confidence in me. That being said, I choose not to overreact to it, right? You make your greatest improvement from week 1 to week 2. I think getting that on film, I do think they'll make adjustments. I think they'll be better on the offensive front. I think the running game with Ahmad Hardy is going to make a big difference. I like what I saw from Bo Pabula in game 1 again at Central Arkansas. This is more of a test for him, more of a test for Jalen Daniels, although we know more about Jalen Daniels at this point than we do about a Bo Pabula. I agree with you. I think there's going to be explosive plays downfield in the passing game from Missouri. I think they're going to be able to work off some play action and do some different things. I thought the game plan was a little bit as you would expect vanilla against Central Arkansas. You knew you didn't have to go super deep in the bag, obviously, offensively to score and score at will and win that football game. So I think the offensive line will be much better than they were in week 1. I think you'll be able to establish a consistent ground game with Ahmad Hardy. But I do agree with you, Bear. Listen, I like Mizzou. I think the number right now is actually at 6.5. It's bumped up. I like Missouri to cover, actually. The thing that gives me some hesitancy, it is a rivalry game, and you just never know, right? Like I'm fully expecting some wacky things to occur, some wacky things, unexpected things to take place. But at the end of the day, Bear, I think Missouri is just a better football team top to bottom. I think defensively you'll do enough. Jalen Daniels is a really good player. He's going to get his. I think you will do enough to contain him, though. And I think Missouri, at home, there is just no way MIZ is letting Kansas walk into Faroe Field and get a win. There's just no way it's happening. That place will be electric. Faroe Field is going to be an absolute zoo. Como is going to be buzzing. And I think Missouri, in front of a sellout crowd, will get a win for the home faithful. First time in over a decade these two have played. It's MIZ getting the better of the Jayhawks. Give me Tigers 34, Jayhawks 24. And a game that I think is going to be back and forth. I think could be close late. Missouri punches one in late to pull away, maybe even make the margin of victory, make the score a little bit wider than the gap actually was in the football game. But I do think either way, however you slice it, I think Missouri covers. I think Missouri wins this football game. Like I said, after over a decade, Bear, these two teams not playing, there's no way the Tigers are letting the Jayhawks walk in to their house and steal what they feel like is rightfully theirs, which is a win in the Border War. So give me Mizzou to win. You and I both have Mizzou. It is going to be a fun one in Como. And admittedly, Bear, I wish I could be in two places at once because the SEC Unfiltered Tour is headed to Norman. I had a couple MIZ folks reach out to me say, how can you not come to the Border War? Like I said, if I could be in two places at once, I would absolutely do it because this environment, this atmosphere It's going to be a ton of fun, and I think it's going to be a fun day for the Missouri faithful because I think they're going to get the win. So I can't wait to watch this game. I know you can't wait to watch this game. I'm sure this is a game over the weekend. You and I haven't talked about it yet. We'll be reacting to this game.
It'll be one that we're reacting to.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. I feel pretty confident in saying this game, in whatever capacity, is going to deliver. I think this will be one of the more entertaining games of the weekend.
By the way, what's your score?
34-24.
There you go.
34-24. I've got it.
The over still hits. There we go.
The over does still hit. I do think it's going to be a little bit of a higher scoring game. Like I said, I think Mizzou's offensive line is going to be better. They're going to have to be. They're going to have to answer the bell against what I think is a really good Kansas front seven, especially that defensive front, that interior defensive line. But I think they will. I don't think they're as bad as we saw in week one. You can't overreact. And by the way, something we didn't mention, Bear, Missouri got a couple extra days to get ready for this game because they play on Thursday. So I think that it certainly doesn't hurt. I think it only helps if you're MIZ. So it's going to be a fun one. Again, I'm going Mizzou. You're going Mizzou. Guys, we'd love to hear from you all, MIZ or Kansas. What's your prediction for the border war when the Jayhawks and Tigers square off Saturday at Faroe Field? Guys, that's going to do all for us. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Before we get out of here, do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is getting you ready for the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in and across the app. You can build parlays. You can bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style. FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season, it's almost here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to download the FanDuel app today and get started. That's FanDuel.com/SECU to get your bets locked in today. Make sure you check them out, FanDuel.com/SECU. Guys, that's going to do it all for us. Again, appreciate you all tuning in. Make sure, as always, you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast where we get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, SECUnfiltered.com. For Cole the Bear Thompson, I'm Chris Phillips. We appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you all on the other side.